Warning, this video may contain spoilers for late parts in the game. If you plan on playing this at some point, turn back now. You have been warned. Welcome everyone to the final game in the Mega Man Legends series, at least for now. Legends 2 definitely answered a lot of questions that were presented by the end of the first game, and I think the story is actually pretty unique, especially for the time that this game came out, which was April 20th, 2000. The experience itself didn't differ all that much from its predecessor, but honestly that wasn't really a bad thing at all, because the gameplay was pretty damn solid already, and thankfully stayed that way. Let's talk about the basics. If you haven't already seen my review on Mega Man Legends, nothing has really changed like I said, but I'll explain how to play again. You play the game as Mega Man with his Buster and interchangeable right hand. The Buster has 5 stats that can be increased, with Buster parts that can either be bought or found in dig sites, and I went for the same strategy this time around of boosting power to the max, though I even out the rest of the stats as they weren't as important for me this time around. Mostly the other stats matter more for your special weapon, which I just stayed with the homing missile basically the entire game except when needing to break through a wall, which I changed to the digger. The special weapons are increased through Zenny and a whole lot more of it this time around, so definitely expect to be grinding for a lot of Zenny, which is more easily done through this game, which I'll explain in the extras segment. Like the first game, you also have armor, and this is virtually the same thing this time around, but there are a couple of different hazards in this game, such as a floor that changes gravity, fire, and ice, all having boots that will nullify these status and can be done on the fly. You'll also be getting submerged in water this time around in some of the dig sites, having a pair of skates that will let you move faster underwater as well. Mega Man will also be able to buy chest pieces that act as a defense boost, with the max being a 75% with a no stagger attachment. The biggest thing you'll be buying most likely is the energy canteens and bionic parts, as on the higher difficulties you'll get absolutely rinsed. The bionic parts increase health by 1 point, while the canteen is essentially an Estus flask, with the upgrades you can buy increasing how much health you heal from each one. With the bionic parts you have a max of 10 health, and you can actually get the canteen to 99, giving you 9 heals before death, which I nearly got to due to the final boss. This game also has a new item due to the status effects called the medicine bottle that can be upgraded similarly, though I didn't really upgrade it all that much as only a handful of enemies and floors even do so. If you have the right equipment, it also takes down the need to use it. This is also due to the 2 barriers you can buy, the light barrier and fire barrier, which you can use at the same time, stopping fire damage and electrical attacks. Finally, there's a giant hidden meter in the game. Actually, there's 2. One for roll and another for the townspeople. All this really does is determine if you get a percentage off at the stores in town, even with roll, getting max of 20% with the town and 10% with roll. If you're a dick by kicking animals or shooting roll during missions, you can start to become more dark looking and you'll get a price increase. On the other hand, if you donate money and do nice things like giving presents and certain other stuff, you'll look shinier and get percentages off. Alright, so this game is a little confusing, so if I am wrong on later parts, definitely correct me in the comments. But this game starts with Beryl and someone new named Von Blucher, who intends to fly his ship onto an island that is believed to have the mother lode on it, as it's the only island that's near unapproachable. Beryl and Blucher only having traveled there once or twice, a strange woman appears, Beryl recognizing her, before she tells them that the mother lode is not the treasure that they wanted, but a catastrophe. She jumps out of the ship onto something called Gats and escapes. Roll sees the event on TV and realizes that the woman is her mother, who had been thought to have died a long time ago. Blucher ignores the woman and descends to the island, with the woman using Gats to attack while mentioning not to hurt them. This causes the ship to begin crashing, with Mega Man and Roll seeing all of this unfold. Unable to maneuver the Flutter into the harsh conditions, they try to see if they can get parts in order to build a dropship from a town located close to the Forbidden Island. They oversee a conversation between a man named Joe and a shop owner, them asking if they have the parts to their dropship. Surprisingly, he says that Joe already has one built in his garage, Roll running after the man named Joe. Roll then realizes that the only other person who had these blueprints was her father, before he vanished along with her mom. entering his garage and finding out that indeed Joe does have a dropship, though his soon-to-be stepdaughter reveals he went out to a dig site outside of town. The two head over and locate an injured Joe, Mega Man taking the refractor and finding some enemies before returning him to the surface and racing him to the hospital. He reveals that he had lost his memory and doesn't know why he had the blueprints. He also decided to give them the dropship anyway, allowing them to shoot Mega Man into the Forbidden Island, where he finds Reaverbots aplenty, as well as a strange crystal that activates a giant Reaverbot, its defeat stopping the snowstorm, allowing Von Blucher's ship to not crash. A giant floating crystal then opens, a young girl and an older man appearing out of it. They're taken onto Blucher's ship, and they tell them to find 4 keys that will open the way to the Motherlode, them also saying that they are ancestors to the humans and mean no harm. In the background, Teasel and Tron have infiltrated Blucher's team and are working for him, along with some new faces of Glide and Claymore, coming up with a plan to individually go to each surrounding town in order to find the keys first. Blucher subtly telling Barrel that he hired them on purpose to have a bit of fun. He invites Mega Man and Roll to talk and asks if he would find the keys due to the pirates. The first place he is tasked with looking into is Pokety Village on Manda Island. Upon arrival, Mega Man is confronted by Tron, who blocks his signal to Roll, Mega Man defeating her and heading into the dig site. Inside, he variously fights a different pirate named Bola that Claymore hires, Mega Man defeating him multiple times, as well as a giant frog Reaverbot, and gains the first key. He takes it back to Blucher, who reveals the next key is on Nino Island, which is already under attack from the pirate Glide. On arrival, he is tasked with fighting off the many bird bites that Glide sent from a couple different areas of the city before they back off and head to their base with the mayor, asking Mega Man to follow and destroy their base so they don't come back before they can fix all their equipment. Mega Man follows them and finds 2 brothers living on the outskirts who mention that the Birdbots stole their sister, assisting them while absolutely destroying the Birdbots' base in a giant self-destructing explosion, but not before saving the boy's sister. He heads back to Nino Island, where he is forced to defend it again while the parabola is repaired. After defending the city for a little while longer, the parabola gets fully charged, sending Glide and his Birdbots into fits of laughter and causing them to crash, finally saving the island. The mayor lets the gang enter the dig site, where Mega Man encounters Claymore a couple times before he hurts his back and is unable to fight anymore, Bola coming and whisking away with Mega Man having obtained the second key. He heads back to Blucher, who tells him the next key is located on Salcata Island, with the city already being under attack from the Bond family. He comes in contact with Teasel, who has stolen a sacred statue of the city, with Mega Man carefully fending him off while trying not to damage the statue. After saving the town, he enters the dig site and finds Tron and Bond, after an encounter with a seemingly invincible Reaverbot. They work together in order to lower the room temperature and let Mega Man beat the Reaverbot, with Bond eventually getting his hands on the key before Mega Man is able to, leading to a short chase where he ends up shooting Bond into lava but still receives the third key. After taking it back to Blucher, they figure out the final key is located in some ruins in the first town that they landed in, Yosionke, with the pirates now combining forces by threatening the town with a heavily weaponized train, only opening the ruins if Mega Man takes care of them, which he promptly does with the help of Joe, who lets them use his own train that he had been working on, fending off the pirates for the final time. He enters the ruins and fights off a ton of Reaverbots, eventually coming to a fight with a pretty slimy one, destroying it and finally obtaining the last key. Upon bringing it back to Blucher, Geets and Sarah start their true plan by Geets assimilating into the ship and stealing the keys and taking control of the ship. Their plans also involve recovering a genetic code of the Master that Mega Man seems to have inside of him. Mega Man wakes up to the mysterious girl from the beginning, who is carrying another girl with green hair. Geets talking to the ship and calling her Yuna. Geets then tells Sarah to head to Elysium. Yuna says that Sarah most likely plans on activating the carbon reinitialization program from the first game, but on a much bigger scale, being the entire world this time and not just a single island, erasing all the humans and restoring the ancients. Yuna has Gats fight Geets out of the ship, and then they actually fight with Gats dying. Geets then turns his attention to Mega Man, who gets help from the Bond family before Geets decides to kamikaze himself into Mega Man. He then starts to remember about his past, learning that the Master is the last true human. I'm gonna just info dump a whole lot here so you guys can actually understand everything that's happening at this point. Essentially, there are actually two big spaces known through this game. Terra, which is the planet, and Elysium in space. The Master lived on Elysium, which was supposed to be a utopia, free of disease, while Terra was where humans lived. He created humans on Elysium who were mostly robotic in order to keep up the system he had in place on Elysium, as well as literally making the system that created mother units, one that would govern Terra, being Yuna, and the other would govern Elysium, being Sarah. The system in place would activate if the humans ever started to war with one another, and would eradicate them all before resetting, using human cells to restart the population. Eventually, the Master changed his mind about how he ran things as he creates Mega Man Trigger, with the original directive being a purifier unit to stop others from going rogue, but this was just a lie to the others. In actuality, Mega Man was created to turn off the system that he had created, revealing that the humans had long since been extinct, and the Master had recreated them for unknown reasons, possibly to help them change for the better or something. Eventually the Master died somehow, and with Mega Man beginning his quest to shut down the system located on Terra, Sarah decided to keep the system alive and took control of it. Mega Man and Sarah fought a huge battle on Terra, but Mega Man came out the victor, though not without his own heavy damage. Yuna put Trigger and Sarah into stasis mode so the inhabitants of Terra could recover. The system wouldn't repair him, so in order to save himself, he decided to go under a physical and mental format, giving his memory to Data for safekeeping and turning into a child. Eventually, Barrel finds him along with Data during a dig he did on the Forbidden Island in his younger years, when he was searching for his daughter and her husband. This all led to now, with Yuna helping Mega Man to get better and tasking him with a choice: either destroy Sarah and the system, or to continue the cycle. They head to the island where the Birdbot's base is located and meet with Yuna, who has a ship that will take him onto Elysium in space. He heads through the levels fighting the various Reaverbots that he had fought in order to gain the keys, before finally getting to the area where Sarah is. He presses a button and finds that the initialization program has been paused, with Sarah appearing and telling him that she paused it, contemplating on how she can't go against the system, and that maybe if she defeats Mega Man, she'll be able to rid herself of the feelings of jealousy she had, that the Master had such an interest with him. They begin battle, with Sarah showing off why she is the mother unit of Elysium, though Mega Man still prevails. This causes Sarah to transform into her true form, and the battle continues, with Mega Man barely making it through the brutal battle. Sarah thanks Mega Man as she is finally able to understand some of the Master's wishes. Yuna comes in with her old shell and tells Sarah to enter it, in order to survive, due to the Elder System becoming active again. They then begin to contemplate over the fact that they have no way to get back to Terra, with Mega Man just saying that he believes in Roll and that she'll come looking for them. After the credits, a rocket is seen taking off, but exploding. The Bond family, Barrel, Roll, and Blucher are all working in order to get everyone back, after apparently Data somehow made his way back to Terra and told everyone what happened. Data tries to give Roll and Tron a simple solution, but they decide they want to figure it out themselves, with Data apologizing to Mega Man, saying that it will be a bit longer before they'll be able to get him back. Legends 2 is an absolutely fantastic successor to the first game. While for the most part the game isn't that different, I felt that the gameplay was a lot smoother and fun, with the lock-on being slightly better this time around. There's even a much better way to grind for Zenny in this game, which, like I said, is incredibly helpful, and the fact that taking the license test increases the Zenny you get boosts this even more. Even besides the Zenny boost from the test, the increased difficulty that is actually separate from the established difficulties is great as well. It made the final boss a real challenge for me, and made it so much more satisfying to defeat and earn the ending of the game. The humor increased a lot more in this game too, which a lot of the Mega Man and Tron moments had me laughing hard. There's not a lot that I disliked throughout my playtime with this game. The couple things I didn't was the fact that there really wasn't any side quests, the high cost to upgrade weapons, and the addition of more confusing segments. The side quest thing is pretty minor, but I felt that it made the towns a little more bland and unmemorable. I mean, the side quests in the first game weren't mind-blowing either, but they added a bit more character. The upgrades get pretty ridiculous, and I pretty much didn't ever change my special weapon from the homing missile, even after I got the shining laser, because I had already dumped so much money into it, making me heavily not want to experiment with the other weapons. The grind spot made it a bit easier, but it still took 30 minutes to get 1 to 2 million zenny, which, big surprise to hear, is not actually a lot of money. For the confusing parts, the best thing to talk about is the train segment, due to the lock-on not actually locking onto the part you're supposed to be shooting, and even the thing you're locked onto can't be destroyed, so at one point I was just endlessly shooting it. Again, this is more minor, but there were a couple segments that I didn't understand, but it was a lot of stupidity on my part as well, so yeah. Okay. Some things I didn't really explain in the story, I'll explain here more, and that's what happened to Roll's parents. Essentially, through letters to Beryl, his daughter and her husband attempted to go to the Forbidden Island and it went sideways pretty hard. Her mom got injured and would most likely die, so Yuna showed up and saved her life by leaving her shell and entering the mom's body, healing her, but this took a long time, and eventually she just let her continue using it because all of the shenanigans with Elysium. The dad, however, lost his memory and ended up in Yosionke, where he basically lived a whole different life, though in the back of his mind he was always trying to get back to the Forbidden Island. With that out of the way, it's time for the Zenny grind. If you go to Mondo Island and go to the dig site immediately on the left and head inside, if the first room has a treasure chest, you're on the right track. If it has anything else, just leave the ruins and come back in until you get the chest. You'll head further in and go to the right and enter the door, take another right and go down the hall, make a left and another one, and follow it through the door. You'll find the Golden Bird Reaverbot, and this is the one you want to grind. Without taking the license test, it will give you 6,000 zenny per kill, S rank and you'll get 10,000. After you kill it, just leave the room and come back inside and it will respawn. I also want to talk about how cool the tests are in the first place. Basically, the game starts with 2 difficulty options, easy and normal. I read that if you pick easy, you can't take the test, so be aware of that. After you beat the game on normal, you unlock hard, which you also can't take the test. But if you beat the game on normal with an S-rank license, you unlock very hard mode, which you can earn an SS rank license. As to what these licenses do, basically they just increase the tier of zenny you receive and increase the difficulty. The SS rank, however, causes all enemies' defense to increase further, and you earn half the money you would. So if you're just sadistic, go ahead and earn that SS. The S rank is already dumb enough to get. What a game. So many crazy things happening that I didn't really expect. Twists and churns aplenty, but I still had an absolutely fantastic time. I did enjoy the story a lot, even though a lot of questions may never be answered, with the main one being, will Mega Man ever get out of space? Even without a sequel to wrap everything up nicely, there's still a Tron prequel to Mega Man Legends 1 that I still need to play. But I think if anyone has been interested in giving the series a shot, they definitely need to, because not only is the gameplay extremely nice, the story there is still pretty dang interesting. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next video.